This is how much food I could cook in just under 4 hours. So one day out of the week, I cook for a family that has a little baby, and I've been doing this since last summer, and it's a nice little gig. And with their busy lives, they didn't want to compromise the way that they eat, so that's where I come in. And it's always simple, clean food, especially now that they have a baby. Unfortunately, the baby has quite a few allergies, and now we have to watch everything that we make sure it doesn't have anything that she's allergic to. The dad is really simple and straightforward. I make eggs with bacon or some kind of sausage and some herbs. Sometimes he eats cheese with it, sometimes he doesn't. Really depends. He really likes rice, so I always make a dish with some rice in it. And then the mom had asked if I could make a meatloaf, and I was like, sure, of course I can make meatloaf. I make it all the time for my regular job, and then I realized, oh shit, the baby's allergic to eggs, so how am I going to do this? But I figured I would figure it out as I go. I had some leftover carrots, so I decided to steam them in the oven for the baby. Nothing on it, no olive oil, no salt, nothing, just pure carrots. And then so I just chopped up some veg, and as I was doing it, I realized that I could probably bind the meatloaf with some rice and flaxseed meal. So I was like, all right, let's fly by the seat of our pants. Let's see how this comes out. And then I tried a little bit of it, and it was actually really, really good, and it stayed together. So I was like, okay, formed it in this pan, and then just flipped it, and then I threw it in the oven, low and slow, and then just forget about it for an hour, and then we'll check on it, and hopefully everything goes well. And then by then the sweet potato was done, and I made a sauce for the meatloaf. It was the same thing I essentially put in the meatloaf, um, just like brown sugar, ketchup, mustard, Worcestershire. I checked to make sure that the Worcestershire was safe for the baby to have. Blanched some vegetables, and while I was doing that, I actually sauteed the rest of the beef I had, and just made like taco meat with this spice seasoning. I really like that company. It's a pretty good company. So while that was happening, removed all the vegetables from water so that I can grill them. I tasted the sweet potato and it was actually really, really good. The green beans were next, and I just like to get all of the vegetables, everything ready for the grill after I've cooked most of my things. Put them on a pan, and then now our veg is ready to go outside to be grilled. And then I let the ground beef cool. This grill is essential for cooking large batches of protein and charring some vegetables. And I just do a simple seasoning with the chicken. There was a little bit of leftover Italian dressing, and I threw that in there. Preparing the vegetables for the grill is just some oil, some garlic and onion, some paprika, a little bit of chili powder, and some salt, and that's it. This time the meatloaf is done and it looks really good, so I was like, okay, all right, let's put some sauce on it. So far so good. And after I put the sauce on it, I just threw it back in the oven for 10-15 minutes for the sauce to caramelize. Now the grill is ready, and it's time to cook the chicken and vegetables. Like I said, this grill is awesome for cooking large batches of food. And then the baby's carrots were done, so all I do is just throw them in a bowl and mash them and let them cool in the container. Charring vegetables is my favorite way to eat them. I love a good char on food. And then I just added some lemon just to bring out some of the brightness in the veg. Season and just let it cool down. And now the moment of truth, the meatloaf. Now it did fall apart just a little bit, but I think that's only because I didn't allow it to cool completely. I was on a time crunch. If I did allow it to cool, it would definitely hold together. It was so good. I was really surprised that I could pull that off. I always surprise myself. And then I made a little plate for the grandmother because she was watching the baby. The baby didn't really feel good. And now it's all just about getting everything in containers after it's cooled. And this is honestly my favorite part. It's definitely an OCD thing. I just love to see everything perfectly neat and orderly and looking very pretty. And then I just assembled some salads for the mom. She uses circular containers, the dad uses rectangular. And this was simple, it took a matter of minutes. And this is everything I did in just under 4 hours for two very busy people. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, they're all set for the week. And now it's time to clean up. I clean as I go because I absolutely hate messes, but now it's time to do that and stack everything and get it in the fridge. I try to set it up and organize it where his food is on one side and her food is on another. And I just really like stacking things in here because I am an OCD person. And the baby's carrots are labeled anytime there is some food for her. I make sure it's labeled, and now it's time just to do the remainder of the dishes, dry anything off, and put it back on the shelves. And that's pretty much it. That's what I do one day out of the week, and it's super simple, and I really enjoy doing it. Take care.